If you've ever used Linux, you know the choice. It is one of the biggest, longest-running debates out there, KDE Plasma or GNOME. And, it's so much more than just picking a look and feel. It's really a philosophical divide. So today, we're going to dive deep and unpack exactly what separates these two giants. Let's get right into it.
We can frame this entire conversation with just one simple question. When you sit down at your computer, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a blank canvas, something you can mold and shape into whatever you want? Or do you prefer more of a guided tour, a carefully designed path that gets you right where you need to go with no fuss? Your answer to that question is really the key to the whole KDE versus GNOME thing.
And that really gets to the heart of it. This isn't just about a few different features, it's about two completely different ways of thinking. On one side, you've got KDE Plasma, which is all about the power of control. The whole idea is that you, the user, should have the final say on every single detail. And then on the other side, you have GNOME, which is built around the power of focus. They believe a curated, consistent, and simple experience is the real secret to getting things done.
All right, so let's walk down that first path. Let's think of KDE Plasma as the architect's workshop. Imagine a space that is just filled with every tool you could possibly need, all laid out, ready for you to build your perfect digital environment right from the ground up. So what's KDE really all about? Well, their motto is basically simple by default, powerful underneath. When you first boot it up, it feels super familiar. You've got a taskbar, a start menu. Anyone coming from Windows feels right at home. But just beneath that simple surface lies what people call endless customization. And it comes packed with these incredibly powerful apps, like the Dolphin File Manager or the Ocular Document Viewer, that are just loaded with features.
And when I say endless customization, I mean it. This flexibility is just taken to the extreme. As one user put it, KDE is so adaptable you can make it look and feel like almost anything else. Windows 7, Mac OS, you can even make it look like GNOME. Now, this is a huge deal because it means you can bring your old habits with you and you don't have to relearn everything from scratch.
Okay, let's flip the coin and head over to the other side of the divide. GNOME. We'll call this one the designer's studio. This isn't a messy workshop full of tools. No, this is a clean, minimalist space where everything has a purpose and a place, and it's all designed to just eliminate distractions and help you focus.
Inside this studio, the whole philosophy is less is more. GNOME actually gets rid of the traditional taskbar. Instead, you've got this unique activities overview. It's this full-screen space where you manage all your windows and launch your apps. It's really designed to be driven by keyboard shortcuts and trackpad gestures, making it super fast once you get the hang of it. And the whole thing is wrapped in this really polished and consistent theme called Adwaita, which gives everything a clean, modern look. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures the appeal of GNOME. The whole goal is for the desktop itself to become invisible. It's not something you're supposed to spend hours tinkering with. It's a tool that's designed to just get out of your way so you can concentrate completely on whatever you're doing. It's all about reducing that mental clutter. So these two philosophies, they lead to totally different ways of handling customization. With KDE, the flexibility is baked right in. You can tweak almost any little thing through the built-in settings. GNOME takes the complete opposite approach. The core system is simple, and it's intentionally locked down. If you want to change how it works in a major way, you have to use third-party extensions. And here's the catch. Those extensions can, and, well, they often do, break when GNOME puts out a major update. That's the trade-off. Okay, so we've covered the philosophy, the look and feel. But what about performance? Let's pop the hood and get a little technical, because some of the numbers we're seeing these days might actually surprise you and totally challenge some of those old beliefs you might have. For years, the story was simple. Everyone just kind of knew that KDE was the powerful one, but it was also the heavy, resource-hungry desktop. And GNOME, that was the lighter, more streamlined option. That was the myth for a very, very long time. But check this out. Recent benchmarks tell a completely different story. This data comes from a test on the Fedora 42 beta, and it shows that on an idle desktop doing nothing, KDE Plasma now uses more RAM than GNOME. We're talking nearly 2,700 megabytes for KDE compared to GNOME's 2,100. That totally flips the old myth on its head, right? So wait a minute. Does that mean KDE is actually the heavier desktop now? Is the old story just wrong? Well, the answer isn't quite as simple as just looking at one number on a chart.
The real difference, the thing that really matters, is their core architecture, how they're built. The GNOME shell is what you'd call monolithic. It's one big single process. KDE Plasma, on the other hand, is modular. It's made up of lots of smaller, independent processes. Now, this has a huge impact on stability. If one little part of KDE crashes, it's usually fine. The rest of the desktop keeps running. But in GNOME, if that one big shell process fails, well, it can take your entire session down with it. This is why you sometimes hear about GNOME freezing up on older computers, while KDE often feels snappier. That extra idle RAM KDE uses might actually be making it more resilient in the real world.
Okay, so we've gone through the philosophy, we've peeked under the hood at performance. Let's bring it all back home and figure out how you can align one of these desktops with your specific workflow. Which of these paths is the right one for you?
So let's just break it down by the type of person you are. If you're a beginner, or if you're really focused on productivity and just want something simple that works, GNOME is probably the way to go. But if you're a power user, a tinkerer, a developer, someone who needs that deep flexibility and rock-solid resilience, then KDE Plasma is the clear winner. And it's interesting, in the corporate world where they need predictability and support, GNOME's strong enterprise backing often gives it the edge.
And at the end of the day, this brings us right back to where we started. This whole debate isn't about deciding which desktop is objectively the best. It's about understanding the philosophies, the trade-offs, and figuring out which one is truly better for you, for the way you work, and for the way you think.
So you've seen the architect's workshop, and you've seen the designer's studio. You get their foundations, their strengths, and what you give up with each one. The only question left is, which path are you going to choose to build your digital world on?